Welcome to the Pharsyde channel. This is our series on small business challenges, and today we are chatting to Lauren Plooy of Ray and Associates. Welcome, Lauren. It's so nice to have you here.
Thanks, Tamron. It's so good to be here with you.
Tell us more about what led you into building Ray and Associates.
So we are actually a family firm that my mom started about 18 years ago. So she came from a very corporate background, and in those days, women were really overlooked when it came to promotions and, getting further in the corporate world. So she was a single mom to two girls and just knew that if she wanted to make it, be financially stable, she had to look at doing something on her own. So, she went out, found a couple of bookkeeping clients, used to just go and do their books at their offices, and, slowly built it up. I joined her about 15 years ago, and we managed to build it up. We built our own offices now. We have a training center. So, for me, I never thought I'd be in accounting. But I'm very blessed to be working in this business. And our husbands work in this business, so we definitely are a family-run company. And
that's awesome.
Very happy. Yeah. It works. I mean, for some people it doesn't, but it really does work with us. It's really good.
Yeah, it's about to ask my next question. I was going to say, I know there's challenges with working with family, but it sounds like you know how to deal with them anyway, not that they haven't arisen.
Absolutely. So I think for my mom and I, we definitely run the business together. Partnership. I think it works because I know how valuable her input is. I've learned everything that I know from her, and she's just got the most incredible business mind. And then our husbands also work in the business, and that's definitely the most challenging part about it, just to try and find a happy medium of seeing each other every day at the office and going home and trying to have like a relationship as well. So it's definitely been hard, but communication is the way that we get through it, because if we can't talk about what's going on and the roadblocks that we're hitting, then we would never survive. And at least I have my own office, so he has his own office.
So you have your own space. Exactly. You can go retreat and calm down before continuing.
Look, I think it also works because we each play a very vital role within our company. So we all do very different things. My husband is the trainer. He is, the technical side of the business. So he does all implementations of any software that we're doing. So it's very separate from what I do. So that also helps. I think if you can shine at what you're good at, then you feel good coming to work. So we managed to at least give our husbands a space that they feel like they contribute a lot, which is good.
And the thing is, you've achieved what most people get wrong in business partnerships, is that you've got complementary skill sets. There's a lot of people go into business with someone who is like them, and then you have the same skill set, you have the same way of approaching things, and you think it's going to work, but actually it really doesn't. Having someone who's different, who thinks differently, who can do things you can't do, that's a recipe for success.
Absolutely. My mom and I are pretty similar, but we also play very different roles. So she wouldn't do like any client's work. She focuses on like business development, and she actually runs the admin for our business. So we complement each other in the right ways. I think it works. Yeah, it works really well. It comes down to respect. I think I see a lot of partnerships fail, whether it's family or not family. And for me, it's the saddest thing when that happens, because I think you are both, you invested in the business. So when it fails, it's very sad. And I think we're lucky. It's been 18 years she's been running the business, and I've been here for 15 of them, and it's been amazing.
That is fantastic. That's such a wonderful legacy to have.
It really is. I keep telling my daughter she's going to come work here. She's like, no, I'm going to be a fashion designer. So we'll have to.
What were your plans?
I would be happy. What, my plans for myself or my plans for her?
Yes, before you, because you said you never saw yourself in accounting. So what were your plans?
I wanted to change the world. So I wanted to get into politics. So I wanted to study law to get into politics. And then I wanted to do social work. For me, it was about giving back. And it's so funny because you would never think that in accounting, you get to feed that part of your soul. But I really,
Oh, so much you do. Yeah.
exactly. So, I think that that's why I love what I do so much. So I love partnering with our clients. I love being able to help them through a crisis. I love being their support. And that's exactly the kind of role you get to play when you partner with the right clients. So yeah, I never thought it would be in accounting. I never thought I'd be like in a 8 to 5, well, not that it's 8 to 5, but in that kind of environment. And yeah, I get to do the best of both worlds, I think. So I feel very lucky.
Wonderful. Yeah. I had a very similar thing. When I was in high school, my best friend was going to be a CA. And
Yes.
my first response was, what is that? Because I had no idea. My second response was, oh, how boring. And then I went to study psychology. Same thing, wanted to help people.
Yes.
Got halfway through and went, gonna take this home with me.
Yes.
I can't be a psychologist. Then I was lost, and then I got a bookkeeping position, filled in for someone. Had no idea what I was doing because I didn't even do bookkeeping in school. But I was like, this is fun. This is more fun than I thought it would be. And here I am. So yes, it's the same thing. But I think you're right. It's actually it's to be a good accountant, you have to care.
Yeah.
You have to care about the client that you're looking after.
Yeah.
And that feeds your soul and then helps you do a good job. So
it really does. It really does. It's so funny.
Really wonderful.
We partner with one of our clients who also does our digital marketing, and they're amazing. And it's the most cohesive relationship. I love it. And when I started working with the writers in their company about writing for our social media ads, she said to me, you definitely break the molds of an accountant. So I said, like, what do you mean? Like, I often think, what do people outside of our industry actually think of us? And she's like, well, when you think of accountant, you think of somebody very gray, and you are way more rainbow. Like, we're not all gray.
I know people outside, they'll think we like numbers and I don't know, paperwork, and don't like people. And yeah, it's funny.
I also do think that our industry's changed quite a lot. So I think we're lucky that we now fit in, because I do think that historically, maybe accountants weren't people, they weren't very outgoing, they weren't salesy, they weren't, but I think now we have to be. So we definitely fit, Tamron.
We're the new accountant.
There we go.
And being an accountant, I know you deal with so many small businesses. And then we actually have the challenge of forgetting that we're a small business and we have a business to run as well. We get so focused on our clients that we forget that we've got to look after ourselves. So what has been the biggest challenge that you faced while running a small business and serving others?
So it's such an interesting question. I've had to think about this a lot before we were having this session, and just because there's quite a lot of stuff that's gone on in the last couple of years. For me, I definitely think our biggest challenge is finding the right staff, so the right people to grow our team with. Because I think for us, our ethos is very different when it comes to the kind of relationships that we have with clients. And it's to find people that have the same values that we do. It has been very challenging. So we've just gone through another change within our team, and hopefully this will be a better one. But so because we've had challenges with our staff to service our clients, we put a freeze on new clients just to make sure that we would be, what was going on is that we were like getting new clients on board. We were all excited, but then we weren't able to look after them as well as we wanted to. So instead of giving really bad service, we just dialed back a bit and started to look internally and make that change internally. And actually, I think what it came down to, and you pointed it out for me, and I love how open you are about this, but I don't think I realized that I burnt out really badly during COVID. And it's exactly what you said now. We carry the burden a lot when our clients are going through a difficult time. And then COVID hit, and we had to work from home, obviously. And I had an 11-year-old daughter that was also doing homeschooling. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But also we were working like 15, 16-hour days because we were trying to help our clients through their crisis. And at the same time, we were trying to make sure that our company was also looked after and that our staff was safe, mentally, because we had a big team that were, a lot of them were single, so they were living at home on their own during lockdown. So we tried to do a lot of things, like we were getting up every morning at 7 o'clock and doing gym classes with them, and we were doing cooking classes at night, and we were trying to motivate our team and motivate ourselves to get through this, absolute horrific time, and then also looking after our clients. So I think sometimes we have to realize that we can't be there for everybody to the detriment of ourselves. And that was a very difficult pill for me to swallow. And I had to take a step back after COVID and just be like, what do we need for our mental health right now? What do we need for our company right now? We put a freeze on hiring. We focused on our internal systems, on how we work cohesively as a team. We did lots of additional training with our team. And I think it was just to bring everybody together, to give us a bit of a breather after going through 2 years of hell with our clients. But yeah, it's definitely, sorry, I went all off on a tangent, but it was all
No, it's a fantastic tangent.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think it's so important.
Yeah, I think that so something that you asked me is like, what was the tip that like changed the way I look at how we run our lives and our business? And Michelle, who's my partner, who's my mother, said to me, we also have to remember that we're not brain surgeons. So if our phone's ringing at 7 o'clock at night, we don't have to answer it because our work is not life-threatening. Sometimes I have to remember that it's okay that I don't answer all my emails over the weekend. I can wait till Monday morning, and I can take time for myself and for my family. So I think we forget that when we run a small business. We feel like we always have to be available.
Yes, well, I think it's also almost a cultural conditioning of the working world. It's changing now. It's beginning to shift. People are beginning to recognize that mental health is important.
Yes.
But prior to this, there was this idea that we're constantly connected, so you must be available.
Yes.
And I think, and we get this so much pressure that if you're not available, then you're not as good as the next person providing the same service. And you should, whereas you should be judged on the service, not on how often you answer your phone. I mean, I could be answering my phone constantly and be giving you bad advice. It's not really going to help anybody, So, and, for me to grow my business, I had to go through 3 mindset shifts, which I share in different things. But one of them was the recognition that I am my company's biggest asset. You don't think that way, and you actually feel, I don't know, if I feel like, it's not very, it's very braggy. I am my company's biggest asset. But at the end of the day, I started this business. It's my passion. It's my love. It's my energy that created this. So if I lose those things, if I lose my passion, I lose my spark, or I lose my health, my business is going to crumble.
Exactly.
It needs me.
Yeah.
So you've got to look after yourself. It's a business requirement to keep yourself healthy in order for your business to thrive.
And for me, the most important way to do that is to set boundaries. And I realized how I needed to set boundaries and then also make decisions on the kind of clients that we wanted to work with. And that's also okay. So do I want to work with clients who will phone me at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, be irritated that they can't get hold of me? I needed to make sure that we were working with people that also respected us, not only as a company, but as human beings, and respected our boundaries. And boundaries are never easy to set, especially when it's about yourself. I don't know why self-care is so difficult. Well, I don't get what that's about. I can set boundaries for my husband, for my child, for my team, but when it comes to myself, it's a very difficult thing to do. So I've had to work on that a lot in the last couple of weeks. And now what I do when I get home is that I turn my cell phone on silent. So I don't even have to, I wouldn't answer, but now I don't even have to be stressed that I'm not answering. And I pick it up when I go to work the next day, and I will get back to clients during business hours. But it's been a huge shift for me that I'm trying not to do as much work at home. And I tell my team the same thing. I don't want them answering emails at night. We've got enough time during the day to get it done.
Yes. Yes, yeah, I think it's such an important thing. And I think, it's important as a leader to recognize the need for mental health, because if you're focused on it, you realize that your team needs it as well. And if you built this culture, which I'm sure you did, you built this culture of caring, of really being invested in your client's success.
Yes.
When you do that, obviously your team is going to be really invested in your client's success, and they're going to want to go that extra mile. So they're also going to be taking phone calls at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's not good for anyone
No,
to be
that's
doing
really
that
not.
sort of thing.
Mm-mm.
So, and you're gonna end up disappointing that client as well. It's the same thing with, if you burn out and this company starts to crumble, you're not going to be able to look after that client who thought they needed you at 7 p.m. when you
Exactly.
can help them at 8 a.m. without any problems.
Exactly.
So
And I love what you said. And I think that every small business owner should listen to that, is that you are the biggest asset to your business. And it's okay to say that. I think that it should be empowering to say that. It is hard. It's always hard to hear like good feedback about ourselves. But I think as business owners, we do have to focus on that. We have to look after ourselves. We have to try and find some balance in our lives. Cameron, balance. That for me is the biggest struggle every single day. I have to be mindful of it every single day. It's not something that comes naturally. I could sit here and work till like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night because I have that much to do, and I could just do it. But I had to be very mindful after my burnout with COVID that I've got a family, and I've got a daughter, and I've got a husband, and I've got myself, and I've got the business. And every, part of that needs a part of me. So I have to work really hard at doing that. And it's funny, the hardest thing out of all of that is taking time out for myself. So
absolutely, yes.
yeah, I have to be very mindful.
So you and I also, we both provide training in different things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've also found this in small business owners. They'll say something like, "Oh, I don't have time to attend training," or "I don't have time to do this course," or whatever. And for me, that's just, it's linked to the same thing. This recognition of, you actually need to spend time. Again, you're an asset. If you're an asset, you can grow an asset.
Yeah.
You can
You
increase its
invest
value.
in it.
You have to invest in it. You have to take time to learn, to grow, and to rest.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
those things all balance you out and make you a more valuable asset than you were a year ago.
Exactly. And also, I mean, for me to be able to do that, I have to learn to delegate more. So I hold, and this is what we see with 90% of small business owners that we work with, is they hold everything really close to themselves, because it is true that sometimes it is easier just to do something yourself than it is to train someone. But what small business owners forget is that when you train somebody to do it, they can do it for the future. So it might take time to train them once, like this is how you could answer, for example, sales queries, or this is how you could onboard a new client, whatever tasks are taking up a lot of your day. You might have to train them once to do it, but then they can run with it themselves. So it was the biggest learning curve for me, was that I don't actually have to do everything myself to get it right. I still have to remind myself. We've had some clients that needed onboarding this week, and I actually didn't have to do it. But we forget that not only do we have to invest in ourselves, but when we train the team around us, we're investing in them as well. Yes. So it is to hand over, to give yourself the space to grow your business if you're looking to grow, or just to invest more time in yourselves.
Yes. And your
Absolutely.
people, like you say, that's such a good point. It's such a good point that if you're not holding everything to yourself, you're helping your team grow.
Yes.
So, which is important for people. People need to feel like they're improving.
Yeah.
They don't want to
And
stay
that
where they are.
Exactly. And valued. I mean, it's so important. I'm a big one for positive feedback with my team. And I do it at our clients as well. So if we've, trained a bookkeeper in the company and she's done a really good job, I'm like, we make a really big deal about it. And thank you so much. And you support us so well. And, we appreciate everything that you do from us. People just flourish under that environment. So even if you're not feeling really good yourself, or you've had a bit of a crappy day, it is really nice to just make somebody else feel good, because in turn that makes you feel good. So I think it is really important to give your team feedback, and just make sure that you're also feeding feeding them in their growth, because as you said, people don't want to be stagnant. They want to feel valued, and they also want to grow. So, you know, for us, we try and look at, you know, training on a couple, we'll try and do it at least once a month, but just training on, and sometimes it could be things that are outside of accounting. So we try and keep it like in the industry, or we'll look at a new app, or we'll, you know, just do something fun during the month to just, you know, get our juices flowing. But I definitely think it's important to focus on your team's growth as well as on your own.
That's amazing. Lauren, this has been such a cool chat. I really enjoyed it. And I'm actually sorry to bring it to a close. But for the last question, I'm just going to ask, what advice would you have given your younger self if you could? So the one thing you wish you had known 15 years ago when you joined your mom?
Not to take life so seriously. Honestly, just to have more fun. It was something, we were driving back from our December holiday, and everybody always talks about your New Year's resolutions. But for me, my husband and I spoke just about some subtle changes we wanted to make in our lives, because the last 2 years have been really stressful. And I just said to him, I want to have more fun. And it comes down to not working the kind of hours that we were working before, and switching off at night and switching off on the weekend, and just giving yourself space to breathe. So for me, it would definitely be not to be so serious. I'm quite a serious person, and I run on quite high stress levels. So I just think, yeah, to chill more would have been my advice. Absolutely.
That's great advice. That's wonderful advice. I think it's more necessary than people realize. We get very
Agreed.
caught up in what we do, and we forget that we can actually have fun.
Yes, like for me, this was fun. So when you asked me to do the session, I'm like, absolutely. I love this kind of stuff. So thank you so much for thinking of me. It's been great.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be here. It's been so awesome. It was a great chat, and anyone who watches this, I think, would get so much value out of what you've shared and how you help your team and run your business. I think it's amazing. Where would you like people to connect with you? So if people watching and they resonate with what you're saying and they want to chat to you some more, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so I mean, we're across all the channels, but I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn as Lauren du Plooy. We have Rand Associates on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, so you can reach out. But probably LinkedIn would be the best place. I'm quite active there, so please go ahead and reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
And we'll put your links below this video when we post it, so that'll make it a bit easier for anyone watching.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tamara.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lauren.
Pleasure. Have a lovely day.